Good morning to each and everyone. Now, as we have to today discuss about the process of photosynthesis, and in process of photosynthesis, how the process will take place, and the four components. Four components are: one is carbon dioxide, another is water, third one is sunlight, and fourth one is chlorophyll. So these are the four components through which a process of photosynthesis is carried out. So photosynthesis takes place in plant, all green plant, and in green plant specifically in the part of leaf, and therefore it is also known as kitchen of the plant. Now, how this leaf is capable of completing the process of photosynthesis by utilizing all these components. So when we move further, we will have a structure of leaf. So how the leaf structure will be visualized? It is visualized like this one. So I have prepared a little bit, and then I can draw some more in front of you, so you can aware of this one. So if you can see, this is a leaf, suppose this is a leaf, and we have make a cut transverse section in it, and the thickness of this leaf, is, if you can see, this means that is the part, this is the part from where we have taken the leaf structure. If you see the transverse section, now we will have two surface, upper surface and lower surface. In upper surface, it is the structure known as epidermis. The each and every epidermis is covered by a thin layer known as cuticle. Between these epidermis, there are some structure, these are known as stomata. In the same way, in lower side also, lower epidermis is present, and this lower epidermis is covered by lower cuticle, and between this a specific structure is present known as stomata, like this. Between these two layers, there are mesophyll cells or spongy parenchymas are present. This mesophyll cell is again divided in two parts. The upper part is known as palisade layer, where such type of cells are present in 2 to 3 row, and these palisade layer contain a structure known as chlorophyll. Is it okay? Now, the second part of this structure is spongy mesophyll or parenchymatous cells. These are spongy and they have air space between them. And between these spongy parenchyma cells, some other structure are more present known as, this is the structure known as bundle cell, cell. Now these bundle cell contain the conducting tissue, and these conducting tissue are nothing but xylem and phloem. So this is the structure of a transverse leaf. Palisade layer contain chlorophyll. As these palisade layer present in the upper part of the leaf, which have direct sunlight falls on it, and by the help of when the sunlight falls on palisade layer where chlorophyll is present, this chlorophyll help in trapping of solar radiation, and these solar radiations are converted in chemical structure further known as ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which is utilized in dark reaction for the process of formation of carbohydrate, as we already discussed. As in photosynthesis, four components are required: carbon dioxide, water, chlorophyll and sunlight. So by the help by the palisade layer, chlorophyll and trapping of sunlight by the chlorophyll is completed. So how this carbon dioxide and water are present reached in the leaf for the process of photosynthesis. So we have also discussed a structure known as stomata present in leaf. Actually, these stomata are the pores present in upper and lower, both the surface, upper and lower surface of the leaf. So when we discuss about these pores or stomata, the number of stomata are less in upper surface rather than lower surface. Means the number of stomata in upper surface is less and in lower surface is more. Why this happen? Because if the number of stomata are higher in upper surface, the most of the water evaporation, in case of evaporation process, more water is evaporated from the leaf. To avoid this process, the number of stomata in upper surface of the leaf are lower than in the upper surface than in lower surface. In lower surface, the number or the count of the stomata is higher. This is the concept due to which the number of stomata are present in the lower surface, more stomata are present in the lower surface rather than upper surface. Stomata are the structure which is composed of two guard cells which are bean shape in structure. Inner layer is thicker, थोड़ी सी मोटी होगी, आउटर सरफेस जो है तो थिक होंगी, और ये दोनों गार्ड सेल जो हैं ये दूसरी सब्सिडरी सेल से कनेक्टेड, और इन दोनों गार्ड सेल्स के पास अपना खुद का क्या होगा, न्यूक्लियस. ये हो गए गार्ड सेल्स. गार्ड सेल्स में मौजूद होते हैं ढेर सारा क्लोरोप्लास्ट, और ये जो बाहर सेल दिख रही हैं ये सब कहलाती हैं सब्सिडरी सेल. एक्चुअली होता यूं है कि ये जो ओपनिंग है, ये जो स्ट्रक्चर दिख रहा है आपको, यही है ओपनिंग, जिसको हम कहते हैं स्टोमेटा ओपनिंग. स्टोमेटा ओपनिंग में दरअसल ये पोर जो है तो हर वक्त ओपन नहीं रहता, बल्कि ये क्लोज रहता है. बट जब ज़रूरत होती है एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैस करने की, तब ये पोर ओपन होते हैं. ये स्टोमेटा दो काम करते हैं. पहला वर्क होता है इनका ट्रांसपीरेशन, मीन्स लॉस ऑफ वाटर, और दूसरा काम होता है एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैस. ये भी क्वेश्चन खूब पूछा जाता है, एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस. मीन्स क्यों? क्योंकि फोटोसिंथेसिस प्रोसेस के लिए कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड चाहिए, वो इन्हीं पोर्स के थ्रू होते हुए इंटर करती है कहाँ, प्लांट के लीफ में. और साथ ही साथ जो लॉस ऑफ वाटर होता है, जो ट्रांसपीरेशन की प्रोसेस होती है, इन्हीं पोर्स के थ्रू जाती है. एक बात और याद रखिएगा कि ये स्टोमेटा ओपनिंग और क्लोजिंग डिपेंड करती है कि कब पौधे को गैस की ज़रूरत है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड की ज़रूरत है, कब उसे ट्रांसपीरेशन करना है. हर वक्त ये ओपन नहीं होता, हर वक्त ये क्लोज नहीं होता. एज पर द रिक्वायरमेंट ये ओपन और क्लोज होता है. उसकी अपनी कुछ और स्पेसिफिसिटी है जो आप हायर क्लासेस में पढ़ेंगे. दूसरी एक और कन्फ्यूज़न होता है बच्चों को, आपको ये लगता है कि केवल जो एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस है वो केवल स्टोमेटा के थ्रू होता है. नो, इट इज़ नॉट ट्रू. एक्सचेंज ऑफ गैसेस स्टोमेटा के साथ साथ कुछ मात्रा में रूट से भी, कुछ मात्रा में स्टेम से, और कुछ मात्रा में लीफ से भी होता है. समटाइम क्वेश्चन विल आस्क whether only stomata are responsible for the exchange of gases, and most of the children are right answer that only yes, stomata are responsible for exchange of gas, but it is not true. Root, stem and leaf, they also have ability to exchange the gases, but in a very minimum amount. This is the concept which you have to be learn very carefully. As when required, the stomata will open or close. When they are open, the guard cell filled with the water, and when they are filled with the water, as I already told you, that this is the thick layer and this is the thin layer. Due to the inward movement of the water, pressure will arises in these thin wall, and when this thin wall have pressure, they move outside. Both the thin wall move outside, due to which this pore is open, and such stage is known as opening of stomata or open stomata. But when there is no need of exchange of gases, the water moves out from the guard cell. They will shrink. When they shrink, the thick walls comes closer to each other, and due to which these openings are closed and no exchange will take place. Such stage is known as closed stomatal stage. Now the second component is water, absorbed by the root, and with water some minerals are also absorbed by the roots, dissolved in the water: nitrogen, phosphorus, iron and magnesium. Out of these, some other also which are required by the plant as per the condition and as per the plant species. Different component are absorbed by the plant. Now, but main important component is nitrogen. In most of the plant, nitrogen is absorbed by the soil in the form of nitrate or nitrite. You have already learned these two terms in class 9th biogeochemical cycle. So these nitrates and nitrites are in the form of nitrates and nitrites. Nitrogen is absorbed. Nitrogen cannot be directly absorbed by any plant directly through atmosphere. ना तो एटमॉस्फेयर से ना एयर से तो ये एब्जॉर्ब नहीं होती, तो इसलिए ये कहाँ से, सॉइल के थ्रू एब्जॉर्ब होती इन द फॉर्म ऑफ नाइट्रेट और नाइट्राइट. और दूसरा तरीका क्या है कि जो सॉइल में कुछ बैक्टीरिया होते हैं, जैसे राइजोबियम के बारे में आपने सुना होगा. These bacteria, by fixing atmospheric nitrogen, fixation of nitrogen bacteria, they will provide to the plant. So these are the two ways through which plant will get nitrogen for their process. Although we have already discussed about heterotrophic nutrition, but again I want to clear you that heterotrophic nutrition has 4 different categories: halozoic nutrition, parasitic nutrition, saprophytic nutrition and insectivorous one. So these are the 4 different types, because these all type they are depend on the other for their food, means they cannot autotrophic, they cannot synthesize their own food. So all green plant and blue green algae or bacteria which are capable of producing their food, they are known as autotrophic, and those who are depend on the plant and their product, they are known as heterotrophic. So in case of holozoic nutrition, holozoic means a food can be taken as it is, either the food is moving or static. In case of cow, it eats grass. In case of lion, it eats deer. In case of human being, we also eat cow, and we also eat egg and meat. So such type of nutrition, whether it is solid or in the liquid form, it is known as holozoic mode of nutrition as it is, and the process of digestion take place inside the body through the help of enzyme and by the breakdown of the food molecules in the simplest form. So this is the way we can find out holozoic mode of nutrition. Now what is parasitic mode of nutrition? Parasitic mode of nutrition is a condition where an organism get nutrition either from plant or from any animal, but it causes harmful effect to the plant or organism through which it gets food. Suppose Cuscuta is a plant which taking the food from the plant in which it is derived or it is present. तो अमरबेल का नाम सुना होगा आपने, येलो कलर का होता है, ये जिस पौधे में रहता है उसी से न्यूट्रिशन लेता है। सो मतलब जिस पौधे में रह रहा है उसी से न्यूट्रिशन मिला, इसलिए इसको कहते हैं क्या, पैरासिटिक। दूसरा होते हैं ऑर्चिड्स भी होते हैं उसी तरीके से। एक बेहतर एग्जांपल आपको समझ में आएगा, टिक्स ऑन लाइसिस, जो मनुष्यों के शरीर में जो जुएं होते हैं, ये जो है या जो कीड़े होते हैं, ये क्या करते हैं, उसी जिस इंसान के शरीर में रहते हैं उसी से न्यूट्रिशन लेते हैं और उसको नुकसान भी पहुंचाते हैं। लीच हो गया, टेपवर्म हो गया, सो दे कम्स अंडर पैरासिटिक। व्हेन एनी ऑर्गेनिज्म गेट फूड फ्रॉम दैट पर्टिकुलर प्लांट और एनिमल and also causes disease to that particular plant or organism is known as parasitic. Next one is saprophytic. Saprophytic actually fungus, yeast, mushroom, they are saprophytic, where the digestion of food take place outside the body. Means they release their enzyme outside the body. This enzyme digests that food material and they suck that particular digested food material. Mostly the saprophytic mode of nutrition, it comes under dead and decaying. What are the substances are dead and decay? The substance which is dead or decayed or decaying, actually it can be decayed by the help of these, and such type of nutrition is known as saprophytic nutrition. Last one is insectivorous plant. Actually these are the normal plant which photosynthesize as usual, but because in these areas there is deficiency of any specific component, mostly nitrogen, and because there is a deficiency of nitrogen, to fulfill the nitrogen deficiency they utilize organism or to fulfill their requirement. Now how do organism obtain their nutrition? So normally in single cell organism, entire surface is used as a to obtain the food. Suppose if we take mostly in exam also, how the amoeba will take, so there is no specific structure of amoeba. Suppose this is a structure of amoeba, this is nucleus, this is plasma membrane or surface. Now suppose the food material reaches to that area, food particle. What amoeba will do? Second stage. In third stage, like this, and in fourth stage, this is food particle, this is food particle, this is nucleus actually, and in fourth stage it may be the structure, this is nucleus and this food particle. So this is the way through which an food is engulfed inside the organism. So this is the way. Here in this diagram you can see that a food particle red in color is near the amoeba. In second stage the pseudopodia will grow up. In third stage the food particle is engulfed by the pseudopodia, and in fourth stage the food particle inside the amoeba. This is the way through which amoeba or a unicellular organism obtain their food. Now in nutrition in human, before moving to that topic, first of all we have to very much aware with the structure of human digestive system. So nutrition in human, suppose first of all human digestive system start with the mouth, and mouth move to the buccal cavity. In buccal cavity further move to esophagus. Esophagus will form a loop like structure known as a stomach. Stomach form a U-shaped structure known as duodenum. Duodenum ends to a structure known as jejunum. Here jejunum will stop and a structure will be formed known as large intestine. and this what jejunum we have left out, this is moved further like this, a coil like structure, and to this place. Is it okay? Now if we can name this part, these part, this is mouth. In mouth we have teeth as well as a structure known as tongue. Now this portion is known as buccal cavity. This structure is connected with the stomach by a help of pipe-like structure known as esophagus or esophagus. Now a bag-like structure is known as stomach. Stomach move from stomach, it from here itself, this is small intestine, and this coiled structure also till this place. From this to this is actually small intestine. It is the largest part of the digestive system. But this large intestine actually is divided in three parts. Large intestine is a combination. Large intestine is small intestine. Sorry, if I will. This is small intestine actually. So large part of the body, but name is small intestine. This is small intestine is composed of duodenum. So this is the part. This is the part U-shaped structure. This is known as duodenum, and this coiled structure is known as ileum. So now there is only two parts, duodenum and ileum, but this is small junction portion is known as jejunum. So duodenum, jejunum and ileum, these three parts combine to form a small intestine. This small intestine connect with the large intestine. This is known as large intestine. Large intestine composed of, this is appendix, this is colon, this is rectum, and the opening is known as anus. So small intestine connect at the part of appendix. This is known as colon. The last bag-like structure is rectum, and the opening is known as anus. Now with this complete structure, there are two structure which is left out. One is liver, which is present here. This is liver, and this is gall bladder. In the same way, this side a structure is known as pancreas. So these are the two structures which are left out. Hope you are able to draw the diagram of human digestive system. Most of the time the diagram or the name will ask. So first of all, this is the homework for all of you. Draw the diagram, prepare it, try well, and try to name it out, as well as in the sequential basis the name and the structure of human digestive system.